Well, now shifting focus to the big story, the final journey of Devi, and as India awaits the mortal remains to come back to the country, my colleague Padmaja tracks all those big developments on the ground. Padmaja, it's over to you.
Thanks very much for that, Anusha. In fact, right here, the wait has only grown longer. It was speculated that yesterday is when Devi's remains would be brought back. But what we are learning right now is that the process of embalming has still not happened. Meanwhile, there's a bit of a suspense, a little bit of a doubt and a mystery that has crept into this entire story, especially with the death certificate, the post-mortem report suggesting that Devi died because of quote-unquote accidental drowning. India today has accessed the death certificate, which in fact has stated very clearly that Devi died because of accidental drowning, and because of those reasons now the prosecution in Dubai has been handed over the case. Only as a matter of procedure, that is what we've been told. Bonnie Kapoor, her husband, is also likely to record his statement in that case. In the meantime, let's quickly listen into this report that has been sent to us by Khaleej Times.
News that we can bring to you right now is that Devi's body is going to stay here in Dubai for yet another night, and that is because the prosecution still hasn't gone through the papers, so and pending which only after that Devi's body can be cleared for embalming, and the next steps will be followed. Amira, very quickly, what is it that held Devi back today?
Yeah, because we learned that the prosecution did not yet give permission just to hand over the body.
Yeah. So basically, they just want to be absolutely sure that when they're clearing Devi's body, they want to be thorough in their investigation.
Yes.
Right.
Correctly.
So, yeah, that is. You would be hearing a lot of stories across the board back in India, but this is what it is. It's a standard procedure followed for every death that happens outside of a hospital. There's nothing to it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, Devi's body should be repatriated tomorrow morning.
I have never seen a post-mortem certificate which gives accidental drowning as the cause. Normally they'll say cardiac arrest, cancer, whatever, or drowning. Now, why saying accidental drowning means there is no criminal motivation. However, the police has to make that verification whether the death is accidental or there is any criminal nature behind it. Now, I believe that from what you are telling me, that the Dubai police is playing it very careful. Having got the report of the post-mortem, they are presenting it to the legal process to get a clearance before allowing the body to leave. Now, this is very traumatic for the family, and I wish this could be expedited.
Now, this is what the Dubai Media Office has said officially, and I would like to just show you what the Dubai Police General Command said. They said the coroner's report showed that the death of Indian actress Devi Kapoor came as a result of her drowning in her hotel room after losing consciousness. This is what the Media Office of in Dubai had put out yesterday. But how did she lose consciousness? Was there any trace of alcohol that was found in her body? All of that is what is leading many medical practitioners to question the way in which the death certificate has been issued. But are these doubts legitimate or not?
I think it will be very premature to say anything about the manner of death by anyone except the doctor who conducted the autopsy. He is the best man who can answer the things. Though we have various unlicensed latitudes and limits, हम कुछ भी बोल सकते हैं, ये एक अलग बात होती है.
If the doctors have returned the person who have done a postmortem, it is accidental. That means they have taken into consideration that there was no signs of any struggle, and they are not suspecting any homicide. A person with a little bit of alcohol will not develop, cannot drown itself. So most likely she was unwell for 2 days. She might have got unconscious in the bathroom or fell down or had a cardiac arrest and got drowned. At this moment, unless a detailed report comes, medically there is no suspicion of any foul play.
In the last 24 hours that we have been here at the house of Anil Kapoor, we've seen a practical, spate of people from the film industry in particular who have been in and out of this house. The people who have been the most frequent visitors are, of course, the young friends of the two daughters of Sri Devi. It's an extremely difficult time. Of course, their privacy also needs to be respected. And the entire circle of friends and family have closed in around them, all of them individually paying tribute and also trying to cushion the shock as much as possible.
It's really sad that she is no more among us. The second news, what you're saying, she drowned and died in the bathroom. But what I hear was it was first the cardiac attack and then she fell in the bathtub. Anyway, that's something else which I don't want to talk. But I'm very sad to what all happened. My family, especially my heart goes to Boni Kapoor.
In fact, late yesterday night, you also had Shah Rukh Khan who had come in here in the evening. One person who had given an extremely emotional, choked tribute to Sri Devi hours after the news of her death became public. Kamal Haasan, along with his wife, in fact, Kamal Haasan had come here. Also, I think Lata Rajnikant's wife, had come here late in the evening yesterday. But in the midst of all this, now there is a question whether this introduces that element of suspicion into the circumstances surrounding the death of Sri Devi. Is this wait only going to get longer? Is the delay in the entire proceeding to be viewed with any kind of suspicion at all, or as is it all just a matter of procedure, which is what the head of the Indian mission in Dubai has been saying time and again? Several doctors also that we've spoken to say this could be a matter of procedure. There should not be a suspicious eye cast on any of this. Joining us now on the burning question, we have former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, Bikram Singh, and we also have Dr. K.K. Aggarwal, President of the Indian Medical Association. Bikram Singh, first tell me, do you think there is an element of suspicion, and if yes, why?
Padmaja, let me tell you that this is an unnatural death. Unnatural death. And any unnatural, especially when it pertains to a person who's iconic, a Padma Award winner, then all doubts will have to be resolved. And Dubai has a very elaborate system of standard operating procedures. It is just to remove all possibility of doubt leading to the circumstances of the unfortunate demise of Sri Devi ji. First, there is a report that it was due to cardiac arrest. Second, it was due to drowning. Third, Sri Devi ji was known to be a teetotaler, yet there were traces of alcohol. Now, to drown in a bathtub is a very suspicious circumstance. Yes, if you go to Google, you will find any number of killings in a bathtub. But death in a bathtub is the rarest of the rare case. Therefore, Dubai police and the prosecution would do well to remove any element of doubt so that all of us who hold Sri Devi ji as iconic would be relieved to see that there is no foul play. That is just about that. But yes, there are certain loose ends in the episode that need to be resolved.
Okay.
And again, I would say that in your opening remarks, you said yes.
Just stay with me because actor Mukesh Tyagi also joining us now. Mukesh Tyagi, do you agree with that assessment that there is a hint of suspicion and loose ends remain?
You know, it is actually speculative analysis is not really detrimental to the genuine case investigation because it offers some element of a bias and the public opinion has some kind of influence. But yes, coming away from these conjectures, the dramatic turns which were unfolded in a couple of days' time are certainly give rise to a suspicion that there is some kind of a possibly either somebody has given a wrong interpretation of the medical condition of Sri Devi ji, or no proper investigation was done. I think the press release or whatever the statement was circulating initially of the cardiac arrest was not based on any medical opinion, and then later on it would change into a drowning, accidental drowning. Again, the translation of accidental drowning, which is normally from Arabic, is again a very frivolous kind of a document, which you feel as there is a less application of mind. But looking at the events which have been turned now, Dubai prosecution has detained Boni Kapoorji and interrogated for 16 to 18 hours, very intensive interrogation, plus Mohit Marwa's family is being also interrogated.
I do not think he has been detained or interrogated. He has recorded his statement, so that's a little unfair to put it in that fashion. Just a second, Bikram Singh, but that specific point that has been raised, that any kind of speculation is only going to do a disservice to the family.
Well, don't you
Already
think,
a difficult time for them.
Disservice if the real facts of the case do not come to light, and even if there is the remotest possibility of a foul play, we look the other way. Don't you think it is a bigger disservice? All of us hold Sri Devi ji in the highest esteem, and to that extent a fitting tribute would be that yes, all the facts leading to her untimely, unnatural demise should be uncovered, and they should be seen what were the causes of this unnatural death. We are only saying that it is an unnatural death, and like in all cases of unnatural deaths, we need to know the truth, the ultimate truth, and nothing but the truth.
Okay. K.K. Aggarwal, as a doctor, what is your opinion? Let's not leave room for any doubt. Let's just check all the boxes. Do you agree with that argument being put forward by Bikram Singh?
I do not agree with Dr. Bikram Singh's analysis.
As a doctor, suppose a doctor goes and examines a patient who has died. First of all, he has to see whether it is ante-mortem death or a post-mortem drowning. That means drowning has occurred after death or before death. Now in this case, post-mortem clearly says this is an ante-mortem death. That means because the water has gone into the lung. Therefore, at the time, and what are the causes of ante-mortem drowning? One is first episode of epilepsy, that you had epileptic attack, you fell down and you die. Second is you develop a heart attack, you start gasping, you fell down in your tub and then you aspirate, that is the second. Third is you develop a stroke. Fourth is that you were under the influence of alcohol. Fifth is arrhythmia, you develop arrhythmia, you fell down into the tub. These are the 5 causes of drowning in the tub in a young patient who is around 54-year-old male or female. Now, heart attack cannot be ruled out unless they say coronary arteries had no plaque. That report is still awaited. Alcohol practically can be ruled out because it was only a traces of alcohol. Epileptic attack cannot be ruled out. First episode of epilepsy cannot be ruled out. So therefore, if they want to investigate further, let them. But if it is an ante-mortem drowning, the causes of in the tub, there are many medical causes which can cause a drowning in the tub. So at this moment, let us not think of a foul play unless it comes out in some investigations. There are enough medical conditions. A person who was sick for 2 days, went to the bathroom, developed a fainting episode, became unconscious or gasping and aspirated. Yes? The job of the police is to investigate, that the police continue the investigation.
Bikram Singh.
What we are discussing is prima facie on the basis of the given set of facts. Obviously, what Dr. Aggarwal has said is after decades of experience, but I too have a little bit of experience, and what I can say and conjecture, yes, that is a possibility. But the possibility and that is also that if there is a foul play, that cannot be ruled out at this point of time, and that possibility will have to be resolved by thorough inquiry and investigation, which is being done by the Dubai prosecution and by the Dubai police. My only submission is that you have to rule out, eliminate every possibility one by one, so that the truth ultimately emerges. Nobody is saying that this has happened or that has happened, but yes, eliminate every possibility and come to a logical conclusion.
There will always be some or the other doubt on some small technicality thrown up by someone. Tomorrow, there will be someone who will say have a full-fledged investigation. Based on what? What is the suspicious circumstance? I asked you because you already have our head of mission saying, listen, there is nothing untoward. please let's not speculate. This is not a healthy practice. You have the death certificate which does not mention anything suspicious. You have the head of the mission there who's saying there's nothing suspicious. Then why this entire chorus about there being a mystery around it? This is going to be perpetually inconclusive then.
Padmaja, it is always better to get to the bottom of the things immediately after the demise. I would not like, there have been any number of cases, and Dr. Aggarwal will bear with me, that bodies have been exhumed, bodies have been removed from the funeral pyre, and the second postmortem was conducted. Ultimately, when everything was done in the first go, where was the need for the second and the third postmortem? But the very fact that you need to eliminate all the extraneous circumstances and get to the truth, and I think the Dubai police, the prosecution and the doctors are second to none in this world, and they're very professional.
No, I will tell you what was the need, and for that I want to bring in my colleague Vidya as well. Vidya, you have been speaking to the police officials in Dubai, and apparently these repeated tests, these multiple tests that were carried out was not because of any suspicion, was it? Was it just a part of routine, or was there something suspicious which necessitated these tests?
No, Padmaja, as we have been speaking to the police there as well as the media there has been reporting, it is certainly procedural is what we have gotten to know. It is part of the very fact that, a citizen of India was there, a citizen of from another country was there who had died outside the hospital, and that is one of the reasons why these procedures have to be carried forward. One is certainly that a death certificate issue can be only sorted out after a detailed investigation as to what led to the death. After finding that out in Sridevi's case, a death certificate was issued. After that, a public prosecutor has to really rectify that, and that is one of the reasons why that is the second procedure which is taking time right now. So certainly, these are procedural matters is what we have gotten to know. At the moment, even in fact, Boni Kapoor has also not been interrogated as is being claimed at many places. It is only his testimony at the time when he was found, when he had taken his wife to the hospital. There, at that point, his testimony was recorded. So it's not like he's been recorded. It's not like he's been interrogated at any point right now.
True. We have a system in India that is known as the Panchayatnama. The moment there is a dead body that is discovered, 5 respectable people of the locality assemble. They see and note down all the injuries on the body, and then come to a conclusion after, not I would say questioning, but yes, after talking to those who are responsible, those who had the last conversation, and then it is known as the Panchayatnama. After the Panchayatnama, which is, as you may have said, it is not interrogation, it is just recording the statement of Mr. Boni Kapoor. Then you go further. First, there is the coroner's report as they have in the US or the Panchayatnama in India. Then you subsequently have the post-mortem report giving the cause of death. The third is if there are loose ends, the police would have done what they have just recorded the statements of all, not only Mr. Boni Kapoor but also of the hotel staff. But yes, to preclude any possibility of foul play, the Dubai police are running the extra mile so that there is no element of doubt and nobody alleges that the police have been cavalier or casual in their investigation and in this high-profile unnatural death.
Okay, fair enough, but Dr. Bikram Singh, on the other side of a very quick break that I have to take now on the burning question, I will ask, what is it that is introducing this element of suspicion, as you call it? You're saying let's not preclude any possibility. What are these possibilities, and on what basis are we even imagining these possibilities? Are we ending up vilifying a family or an episode or a man based simply on conjecture? On the other side, we're going to put out the facts, what we know so far, and is there any reason for suspicion? Stay with us. Here in Mumbai and among her fans across the country, now there is a question. Is there any element of suspicion at all? Bikram Singh, you said earlier, let's not preclude any possibilities. Let's just tackle them one by one. And, we'll have Mukesh Tyagi and Dr. K.K. Aggarwal also weigh in on that. Give me 3 reasons why you think this is suspicious. A, you say it is accidental drowning. Dr. K.K. Aggarwal, is the phrase accidental drowning common, or is there reason for us to think why has an accidental drowning being mentioned?
Padmaja, is the question for me?
Dr. Aggarwal, when a death certificate mentions accidental drowning, isn't that reason to be suspicious?
See, drowning can be antemortem or postmortem. If there is any foul play, then you are talking about that person has been dead and put into the tub bath. That signs are not there. So when there is an antemortem drowning, there can be two reasons. A conscious person, if you are making him drown, he has to be under heavy sedation or heavy alcoholism which has not been found, or there has to be a signs of struggle. So a doctor at that particular moment can give his opinion. It is the opinion of the doctor who has done a postmortem. This looks like an accidental. And it is the investigating officer to decide to agree with the doctor or not to agree with the doctor. We can't say that doctors can't write down, because there are n number of reports and studies available where a doctor has been asked to give his opinion whether it looks like whether there was any evidence of struggle or not. So if a doctor has given his opinion, it's fine. For postmortem report, opinion is it looks like an accidental, but it is for the police to decide based on the circumstantial evidence whether they are suspecting any foul play, and that's the job of the police. Police job is always to look and rule out a foul play. So I don't find anything. Let the police investigate. As far as the medical science is concerned, she was gasping because the very fact she aspirated the water into the lungs, there are no signs of struggle, and she has water in the lungs. That means she was breathing when she fell down. Breathing means gasping, which can happen in paralysis, which can happen in heart attack, which can happen in epilepsy, and in all these three conditions you may have no changes in your postmortem. So I don't blame the doctor for writing. The doctor cannot write that. No, if the doctor is asked his opinion, he can write that this is accidental. Hello. Hello.
What do you find amiss then?
Hello.
Vikram Singh.
Hello.
I would say that it is highly unusual for an autopsy surgeon to commit himself about accidental, natural or otherwise. It is for the investigation. Otherwise, there would be no need for investigation. The fact remains that the doctor's opinion is asked. That is when there is a cross-examination in the court of law and when he is testifying before a court of law and there is a contradiction between the investigation and the postmortem findings. One. And if you permit me, I would say that the circumstances leading to suspicion. One, the fact that there was a report in respect of a heart attack or a myocardial infarction, whether it was a malicious rumor or just a loose talk, that remains to be resolved, I would say. Number two, the circumstances under which the postmortem report said accidental drowning, and I would recheck the spelling of drowning. Please recheck the spelling of drowning. Three, a person of 54 years of age, supposedly in excellent health, and a fitness freak, has questions are bound to be raised, and any trained investigator would go into the immediate past, the present, and the possible future. And therefore, I would leave it at that the job of any investigator, which the Dubai police and the prosecution are doing, to go into every aspect so as to preclude any possibility of foul play. It is exactly that. No allegations, with the greatest of respect to everyone, no allegations. But yes, the police and investigators are trained to go into the micro details and to see that there is no even a hint of foul play, then go and open a hyperlink and go ahead with the investigation further, which the Dubai police is doing.
Mukesh Tyagi, in your mind also something doesn't add up?
You see, I first of all do not agree with Dr. Vikram Singh's analysis that is unnatural death. We cannot reach to this conclusion till the entire medical examination is done exhaustively and leads to a certain conclusion. My objection is only that the Dubai medical team has come out with the premature conclusions, which is being further investigated. I think the police in Dubai is not willing to believe it is accidental drowning, otherwise the body would have been released by this time. Another point which I am trying to add is, why not there is a medical team? Now the matter has become very high profile. It has come under a cloud of suspicion. Why not a competent medical team from India also go there? There is a bilateral consultation between both of them. Look like there is some shoddy medical investigation which has been done. First they said cardiac arrest. Second they said it is accidental drowning. We have no evidence whatsoever that in Rashid Hospital, where Sri Deviji's body was taken, what kind of analysis or findings were available at that time when the paramedics were there, the medical team attended her condition. There is no what kind of conclusion was there, whether the cardiac arrest was the conclusion of the earlier medical team in Rashid Hospital,
No, but
or it
I
is
again
post
do not think
Rashid
it is
Hospital
fair to
that they have
say
come
that
out
there
with
was
the
shoddy
conclusion
medical
accidental drowning.
analysis.
So I think
Vidya, the initial idea of a cardiac arrest was not given by the hospital at all, was it? It was the family which had said it. So why are the doctors being blamed for shoddiness?
But what is the Rashid Hospital's analysis? I mean, first of all, I'm not saying shoddy, just listen to me. I'm just trying to say what are the findings of the initial medical analysis which was done.
No, you said there are multiple theories which are doing the rounds. I just want Vidya to tell you where those multiple theories came from. The doctors are not responsible if some theories are floated outside of the hospital. Vidya.
Yes, Padmaja. In fact, most of these theories had been floating outside the hospital, outside, alleging sources from various people who had actually said that it was a heart attack. While, the doctors do need time, and the doctor does not really look at a body and say it is a heart failure. You need to have a few tests conducted, and that is one of the reasons why an autopsy is really done, to really find out what led to that. And the autopsy report which had come only yesterday, which basically said that yes, it is because of accidental drowning.
So, Mr. Tyagi, the doctors have only one opinion.
No, I'm saying, no, they have come out post-autopsy. What was the pre-autopsy opinion of the medical team which attended Sri Devi when she was taken to the Rashid Hospital from Jumeirah Hotel? What was that finding? We don't see the baseline. So how do you come out? What was the initial analysis? What is the post-autopsy analysis?
That was the only
the whole
finding that they
picture
have.
is not available. So
how can they give any analysis without an autopsy?
No, the drug happened later on.
It was the family which in fact said that they suspected a cardiac arrest, and they said
but
she had a healthy background, and that's the reason why it was very shocking for them.
That is a fact. That is. Ma'am, I agree with you what you're saying is, but what I'm trying to say is what was the opinion of the doctors in Rashid Hospital? That is not available. I mean, nobody is pointing out what did those doctors say. The family has said something that has no meaning whatsoever. I'm just trying to say what was the prescription written, what kind of tests were reported when she died, what was the clinical or intuitive analysis by the medical team when the dead body of Sri Devi was taken to Rashid Hospital. There is no such information available in the public domain.
Do you have any details
and based upon that, the hypothesis of cardiac arrest was circulated.
Padmaja, if you look at this entire case, when someone who has died outside the hospital arrives in be it in Dubai or be it in India, the procedure is the same, that a clinical analysis is done. When no outside injury is noted, you can't really speculate as to what could have led to death until you have a autopsy done, which is one of the reasons why only an injury report is made, which is basically you look at the body and say whether there are injury marks, what could have led to drowning or things like that. These until an autopsy is done is only a speculation, because there were no injury marks on Sri Devi, and which is one of the reasons why the family and everyone else started speculating that it could be a heart attack. But until an autopsy is done, which is a conclusive, which gives you a certificate saying as to what could be the reason for the death. So until an autopsy report is in hand, the other things are only a speculation.
And in fact, I have a question to both Mukesh Tyagi as well as Dr. Bikram Singh. My colleagues. Yes, go on, Mr. Tyagi.
You see, again, Vidya is coming out with her independent conjecture that clinical analysis was done. What was the clinical analysis? Actually, that should come in the public domain. That we don't know. And that's why this it has become a subject to rumors. Somebody is calling cardiac arrest. Somebody is calling it's a accidental drowning. Accidental drowning means
it is what
a person has died naturally. And No, no. No, no. What is the clinical analysis? She's saying it was done clinical analysis. Her entire focus is on the post-autopsy medical analysis. But what happened to pre-autopsy analysis? What was the medical team opinion? That is missing completely here. That's why I'm saying she's making a conjecture there. I mean, what is the clinical analysis? That's what nobody knows about. What was the initial clinical analysis?
Just stay with me, but Okay, just stay with me, Mukesh Tyagi, Vidya and Dr. Bikram Singh, because I want to quickly cut across to Sharavati Choksi joining us now from Dubai as well. Sharavati, of course, we can keep speculating, we can keep attempting to do an analysis of our own of what could have happened on Saturday night, but what are the doctors actually doing there? Is the embalming process underway? If not, how long will it take?
Padmaja, the embalming process has not started yet, and it is unlikely to even start until about midday today. It's 8 o'clock in the morning in Dubai right now, and what we are given to understand right now is that the case lies with the public prosecutor of Dubai, and he can choose to follow another angle of investigation if he wants to. He can choose to ask for another autopsy if he wants to, but no such thing has happened right now. The Dubai police clearly rules out foul play as of last night. If anything changes today, we don't know. But as of now, where the case stands is there is no suspected foul play. Embalming has not happened yet. There is a certain legal process which has to be followed in Dubai when the death happens outside of a hospital. And clearly that is the legal process that the Dubai police is following right now, given the fact that it was an accidental drowning 3 days ago.
All right, so according to the police there is absolutely no sign of foul play. All of that has been categorically ruled out. In closing comments, I want to ask all of you, Dr. Bikram Singh, in such a scenario where the police itself is saying everything is being done by the book, there is nothing out of order, such rumors and speculation are unnecessary, don't you think?
Absolutely, they are unnecessary. There is a right to know, there is a need to know, and there's what can be legally and morally disclosed. We must understand that, and now that the Dubai police, one of the most professional police forces in the world, they have come to a conclusion that there is no foul play. Unless there is information to the contrary, let us presume that there is no foul play and expect that the body will come to India for the last rites.
All right, and before I take closing comments from everyone else, there are some parallels being drawn between two deaths. That of singer Whitney Houston, she was found drowned in her bathtub just a few years ago, and between the death of Devi. Is there any reason to make that comparison? Let's get a quick analysis from my colleague Anusha Soni.
Two divas who died in similar circumstances, many coincidences in their death. Whitney Houston and Devi. Both had fame, popularity and mass fan base which loved them. Yet their deaths were tragic. Both drowned, both suffered accidental drowning, and that was the reason and that was the cause of their death. And as we show you the similarity, what is also really striking is that like Devi, Whitney Houston was also found dead in a bathtub. But in the case of Whitney Houston, it was confirmed that it was indeed the drug overdose, which was one of the reasons that she fell unconscious and she fell over her face in the bathtub, and that was the reason for her accidental drowning which happened in Los Angeles. But as far as the case of Devi is concerned, we yet don't know that how she fell unconscious and what was the cause of her accidental drowning, because that can happen in a bathtub only when one loses the senses, one falls unconscious for a variety of reasons, including exhaustion or a blood pressure. That's what the experts have said. In the case of Whitney Houston, as I said, there was an overdose of cocaine which was confirmed by the medical reports. But in the case of Devi, there are traces of alcohol which are found in the blood. So one needs to be careful here, because whether these traces were in permissible limits or they were over the permissible limits, which could probably lead to unconsciousness, that is yet not confirmed. So one could just take a limited amount of alcohol, which is perfectly acceptable, and yet those traces can be found in the blood. So we need to wait and watch as the details trickle in. But there is indeed a little bit of similarity here, which one can see, especially the way these two celebrities died. Both of them very popular, both of them had a huge fan base. But yet, when they died, they left their fans with big questions. And especially in the case of Sridevi, we are yet awaiting those details to come in. She died on Saturday, and since Sunday morning, that investigation has been on. We just hope that those mortal remains are sent back as soon as possible. And more details, and whether the family chooses to make a statement, are all these questions that still needs to be answered.
And in making that comparison, it's very important to put out a caveat as well, other than the fact of accidental drowning, and we are going to pull up that death certificate again. All the other facts are what have been reported by the Dubai media. On record, the presence of alcohol, for example, all of that has not been confirmed either by the doctors or the police, Vidya.
In fact, yes, there had been a lot of speculations in this case. Until now, we have been hearing a whole lot of other things about heart attacks, about alcoholism and everything. But, it is only a certificate from the death certificate which we have in hand from the police there, which now confirms that, yes, it is accidental drowning. Though there could be a lot of speculations, people can keep talking about what could have led to, the accidental drowning. But at the moment, yes, the certificate is what we have in hand, and that is what it certifies accidental drowning.
And which is why, Mukesh Tyagi, don't you think it is best left up to the prosecution? You have a formal investigation underway in Dubai. Is it legitimate to seek a similar probe in India as well?
That is the prerogative of Indian judicial system. Maybe somebody will file a case here that this matter need to be further investigated, and Indian government can also command and demand the body of Sridevi for analysis, or they can send the team. That is completely within the prerogatives of Indian government. But the difference between Whitney Houston and Sridevi in 2012, when she was found dead in a Hilton suite, the blood was gushing out of her nose, and there was a possibility of a cocaine. So in her case, except the fact there was a finding, there were elevated traces of blood in her body. Besides that, it has, like, her body is completely natural. There are no signs of any scar or a fight. So I mean, there is a vast difference between Whitney Houston's and Sridevi. Sridevi is far more cleaner in terms of what has happened with her. So, but I mean, coming to that, I think government of India should have sent the medical team there. Even the police officers could have gone there. It would have happened, maybe they had rejected, they said, no, you have no business to interfere in our business, so you stay away. But at least some kind of a parallel investigation is required, because suppose for some reasons Dubai police comes out with the conclusion that there is a foul play. And I mean, you can really complicate the matter, as we have seen in last 2-3 days time. The matter has been not looking so, I mean, of course we are sitting far away, we can just do conjectures, but looking at the dramatic turn from cardiac arrest to
it matters further that when we have Navdeep Suri, who's our head of mission there, himself saying that please do not speculate, Dubai police is doing everything necessary, we try and carry out a parallel probe of our own or try and send in our investigators. I'm sure you know that better than I, that this is not something that can be done at a diplomatic level. But thank you very much, gentlemen. Whether there eventually is an investigation or not, of course, will be up to the government. But so far, the police in Dubai is absolutely clear. They're going by the book, following procedure. Whether that leads to further delay, we do not know that about, as of yet. But it seems like by the end of day, the mortal remains of Sridevi might just be released. What happens further, you can watch the space for that. For the time being, thank you very much, Dr. Bikram Singh, Mukesh Tyagi, and my colleague Vidya, as also Dr. K.K. Aggarwal, for having joined us. Let's also tell you what actually happened in the final moment. The events of the last few hours of Sridevi, which have been pieced together based on what people who were present with her, people who had met her around that time, have told us. Here's piecing together those final hours, and you can judge for yourself whether that leaves room for any suspicion or speculation whatsoever.
A hug Boney Kapoor will never forget. His final dance with wife Sridevi. Dressed in gorgeous pastel lehengas, smiling for pictures along with her family. No one knew that these would be the last memories of Sridevi. The epitome of grace and glamour. In Dubai to attend her nephew Mohit Marwa's wedding, Sridevi was seen singing and dancing during the ceremony on 20th of February. 2 days later, Boney Kapoor returned to India to attend an event in Lucknow on 22nd February, while Sridevi decided to stay back. According to reports in a Dubai daily, Khalij Times, Boney Kapoor flew back to Dubai on 24th of February to surprise his wife. Boney reached Jumeirah Emirates Hotel at 7 p.m. on Saturday. The couple chatted for a while, then Sridevi entered the hotel bathroom at 7:15 p.m. to get ready for the dinner date. When she did not come out after 15 minutes, Boney knocked on the bathroom door, but did not get any response. It was then that Boney opened the door, only to find a motionless Sridevi in the bathtub. At 7:40 p.m., Boney and his friends tried to revive Sridevi, but failed. After 3 hours, Boney Kapoor finally informed the cops of Sridevi's demise. What was expected to be an evening to remember will now be a heartbreaking memory, hard to forget. India's heartthrob gone too soon, leaving her family and fans in Sadma. Bureau Report, India Today.
Of course, all of us here can afford to talk dispassionately about the case as another one, the death of someone famous. But for the people who are inside this house, she was family, she was their mother. And what's even more tragic is that the death of Sridevi comes just months before the debut of her elder daughter in the Hindi film industry. Imagine their loss, their grief, and their tragedy. We leave you at this point. Thanks for watching.